Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. Second edition on this PowerStroke 3500 watt generator. It's a Ryobi brand. It's got a 212cc overhead valve engine. And I'll talk about that. We did an initial video on this thing and I screwed it up. It was a Tommy screw up, and I'll explain. I'm sure some of you have caught it in the first video. So this happens to be, like I said, a 212cc. It's the Rado 210. And it's the Chongqing Rado Holding Company Limited. So they just abbreviate and call it the Rado. So this is the Rado 210. It's stamped on the other side of the engine, R210. So it's known as the Rado. So I was doing a little Google search. I went to Bob the Oil Guy, and they were talking about the Predator 212 sold at Harbor Freight. They said that some of the engines had been Rado, some were Lifans, and others Lockchins. So I just went to Google Predator 212cc to get intake and exhaust clearances. So intake was showing at 4,000 to 6,000. I split it in the middle. I use 5 for intake. Same for exhaust. Between 6 and 8, I use 7,000. So later on, I went to Rado and looked at their website. They're calling for 6 and 8. So I'm just 1,000ths off of what their factory setting is. I don't think it's going to make a difference. They're calling it a 6.5, 7 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. And these are the plugs that'll fit this thing. I'll put those down below. So we had a 6 on here, and it was all goobered up. I found one in a carb kit, same exact thing, but it's not an LG, it's a no-name F6 Tango Charlie. I think this was the original one. So we're gonna mess with that. What else I'm gonna show you? Okay, I screwed up on the fuel selector. That was a big issue. That's why this thing would start and stall. It wasn't getting fuel. So I took off this whole apparatus when I was working on it. I snatched up a fuel line from a carb kit. This is going directly to the tank. So right here, they're saying straight across is on. But up here, I see on, and then I see a dash up and down. So that's a screw up on this PowerStroke. It's confusing to homeowners like me. So basically what I had done was I had it straight up and down, which was off. I was mimicking this. It should be straight across is on. So I did get fuel flow when I made the adjustment, but I took the carb off anyway because I had seen the white dust of death in the bowl. We're going to run a straight line when we mess with this thing, and then I'll deal with a shut-off valve. So where can I get you? What do we want to talk about? I guess we'll do the valve deal first. So with the plug out, I stuck a small screwdriver in the plug hole and just kept pulling it until both valves were in the open position. Did a 360, made sure these came full out, then took my intake and exhaust reading. They were both loose, valves were loose. This cover was probably never off. I ended up degreasing it. It was all crappy. Cleaned it all up. Air breather. So I did that 10 millimeter for the lock nut. I think it was 13 for the adjusting nut in the back. So we're good here. I'm going to put the valve cover back on and then the carb and lower this thing down. Oh, other issue, when I took the plug wire off, notice that the clip here that clips onto the top of the plug, that little clip's broken, so it's just kind of touching but not really secure. Looks like United Airlines screwing me up. So that'll have to be adjusted, the spark plug boot. So this thing was beat to death. That was broken. The choke lever was not working, and I'll show you more on the carb here in a minute. Let's put all this back together first. So this thing, like I said, probably would have worked. I had the fuel off. So did you see any illumination in the floor lamp, the spotlight? You guys were supposed to be working for me. I hope you weren't screwing off. Did this power head produce? Oh, that was a screw up. I had my ratchet holding up the fuel line. I just sprayed my driveway with gasolina. So I think this thing can be fixed up for not too much money. I'm glad I only spent $10 on it, because with what I need to buy, it's going to put me up in price. It's really not clicking, but I think I ordered a 5-pack of these plug heads, wire heads here, so I can switch that out. Now, overhead valve. I cleaned off the 4 screws. They're 8 millimeter. Those were all crappy with dirt. When I had the valve cover off, I tightened up the head bolts. There's 2 down here behind the cover and 2 you can reach from the top, and they were tight. Too bad there wasn't an hour meter on this thing. I'd be curious to see. This thing was used. I mean, it was used. So for it to be able to handle commercial use every day, I'm kind of impressed with this Rado. What I'd like to do if it starts is pull the wire for the oil level sensor and see if it kills the engine. I think it's on the other side. It's a sensor that's going into the block. It may be oil level. I want to see if unplugging it does anything, or Maybe it just affects it on startup. If there's no oil, it kills the coil killer. Okay, I'm going to get them started and use the DeWalt. Okay, they all started. Yep. Okay, they're 8s, and I got an 8. Okay, I'm going to get an extension and just snug them up by hand. How you guys doing? I probably shouldn't even be working on this thing, but I figured what the hey, might as well keep working, see what I can do. Just crisscross applesauce. If we have any satisfaction with this, I'll do a better job at degreasing the engine. Okay, so that's on. We can talk about the carb. I ran it through the ultrasonic twice. So here on the throttle side, the brass shaft was so worn out, this whole wafer was dancing back and forth. So I kind of wrapped a wire around the brass shaft because it's kind of oblong right now, just from this thing running. What's this, a 2013? Running every day, it just wore out the brass shaft down there. I've never seen that. Something with so much use. In the aluminum throttle wafer, it's got sharp edges here from it touching the body of the carb. So really worn out. And the choke handle, that's worn out. I looked on the Big Jungle, and you can get a carb for under $15, just the carb, no filter or lines or clamps or spark plugs. So 15 plus 10, what I paid for it would be a 25 for this. And I think I would go with another carb. This has just been worn. I'm sure it'll be okay to start, but I would want to change it out. In my intention with this machine would not to sell it. I would hold on to it, and if anybody needed it during hurricane season, this would be a loaner. I would I would show whoever I let use it how to run it, but make it where it would start. And I think with the funky choke, having a new carb would be something I should invest in. That would eliminate that problem, and then I have to get a fuel shut off here. Okay, let me keep going. I got the choke lever to put on and run my straight fuel into the carby, because I'm not Barbie. Okay, here we go. And this thing seems wallowed out. the plastic from choking it 6 million times. Okay, so that's that on that. Okay. We need, oh, did it again. That's like the 5th time I've